And now you're live.
You're good to go. You're live.
Okay. All right. So, hello, everyone. We want to take an opportunity to thank you for being here today with us. This is an iPad integration coaching lesson with Mrs. Salucci.
Hi, how
So
are
I
you?
wanted to make sure that I gave you the opportunity to ask your questions, but I'm going to ask for Mrs. Salucci to be able to do her presentation, and then we will take your questions in the live chat below at the end. And Dr. Koss and myself will be asking the questions as per what you're curious about. So with this point, all right, now I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Salucci. Mrs. Salucci, thank you, Ms. Salucci. Thank you so much for being here today. And she is also our tech coach. So she is the lady in the know. All
Hi.
right.
All right. So welcome, everyone. I just want to go over the basics behind the iPad and how the staff is going to integrate various apps within the iPad. So let's move here. My bad. All right. So the first app you might see on the iPad, which is called Clever. It's a blue app. You might see it either on the screen or in the toolbar. And the Clever app, which some of you may know already, is a single sign-in where the teacher requests the deployment of certain apps. I'm going to go over the different apps that teachers have asked for. And you can find the majority of those apps in that Clever app itself. So when you open up the Clever app on the iPad, you'll notice that there's various apps in there. And once you sign into that Clever app one time, when you go into the rest of the apps, your child or your student doesn't have to sign in additionally to different apps loaded into the Clever. So that's a real bonus for us because we know how difficult it is to have a young child continually having to sign in these username and password. So we're hoping that this minimizes that frustration of having various sign-ins and continually to sign in and sign in. So that basically is what the Clever app is. Now, each teacher has requested various apps to be put into or deployed into that Clever, I guess you can call it an umbrella overall app. And once, as I said before, once they sign in, all the apps should open up for them freely. And I will go over the various apps that staff from kindergarten to first have actually requested. So that's called the Clever app. The next app, which many of you, I went and I saw many of the teachers in the past 2 weeks, they're all using Zoom. So I'm pretty sure most parents, guardians are pretty familiar with the Zoom app. And the Zoom app is basically where they do their what you need time in the afternoon. They're using that to conference and video conference their teaching. So this is a very popular app I know they're all using in the afternoon. So I didn't want to spend too much time on that because I do understand they are using that. You should be familiar with that app. Okay, so OnCourse. OnCourse is our current student management system. We use it both at Dawes Avenue and at Jordan Road if you have children that are in the upper grade levels. And OnCourse currently is working on an app to make it easier for parents to just easily sign in and get the information that they needed, or for a student to sign in and get their classwork. So I know some classrooms are using OnCourse and some classrooms are using Dojo and some classes are using Google Classroom. So we'll talk about that in a few seconds. But OnCourse for parents is a great way to get notifications, messages. I know some of the fourth grades using that to use for work and the workflow going back and forth. If you want to look at your child's attendance, if you want to look at the school calendar, if you want to look at different messages you might have gotten from the school district or email, or if you want to send your teacher a message, you can always do it through OnCourse. OnCourse is like a one place, it's like our central location where you can find student progress, grades, and various messages. So that is not an app at this time. However, you should have the ability to access OnCourse on the iPad. I know we put it as a link, as a small link, or if you have a desktop, you can go to the Summers Point webpage, go to parents, and then it says OnCourse, and then you would just click on that. and that's how you can access it through that way. Either way, I'm pretty sure that OnCourse, it will be more going through that advancement, have that app, and it will be coming out as soon as possible. So that's basically on. So when you log into OnCourse as a parent, or if your student wants to, or your child wants to log in OnCourse, this is what you should be seeing. And I've noticed as a teacher in 7th grade, some of our students went to the wrong site in the beginning. They just typed in OnCourse and thought they were going to get it through that way. My suggestion is you can either bookmark this on a desktop, you can bookmark it on your iPad, and then basically keep this so you have it in a central location, because this is the right, if you see this link when you're opening it, this is basically the right place you're at. You should have a dual sign in. You should have guardians in one side, and then you'll have the students log in on the other side. And I know my kids in the beginning, my 7th graders, had a little, it was new to them. So some of them were signing in the guardians, so that was a little bit confusing. And then some did, we are now logging in as your student. And you should have your student's username and password at this time period. If you need it, be more than happy to email your teacher, and they'll be more than happy to give it to you. Guardians, once again, you should have a sign in and username as well. And if you have any questions like that, please contact Dr. Cryer or Mrs. Cass for that information as well. So this is basically where I know the 4th grade, some of the 4th graders using this to deliver classwork. And I know some of the 4th grades also using Google Classroom. So it just depends on the teacher's preference for right now, what they feel the most comfortable with. Most of the junior high is working in OnCourse, and it's just where we're at with comfort, familiarity at this point with the staff. But this is where the students log in, and this is where the guardians would log in. Okay. Any questions so far, Dr. Cry?
No questions so far. One was just about one question was about getting into the apps. And my answer was, because I put it into the chat, but if any parents are listening, if you're having any issues with getting recent user screen, past the recent user screen, then just go ahead and call the office and we can give you the code.
Okay, great. All right, so here are some apps you may see that I've been talking with the staff over at Dawes Avenue, and I'm gonna start with kindergarten, if you have a child in kindergarten. And some of these apps, most classes have been using or will use between K through 3rd grade. So I know in kindergarten, they are using Dreambox, which is a math program that adapts to the individual student learner. It personalizes instruction for student needs, and it does align itself with the New Jersey state standard. So this is in the Clever app. So when you open that Clever app, you should see a D that looks like this, and that you should be able just to click that and get into the app for that, and whatever the teacher assigns for that specific day or week. I also understand the kindergarten's 2 main focuses, that and the Reading A to Z app. And once again, that should be at this point in Clever. When I talked to them on Friday, they did say they did have the Reading A to Z deployed in the Clever app. And once again, this is more towards the reading side of the education app department, where it's level personalized reading program that helps in the guided reading program. So that's kind of the robot guys, kind of what you're going to see in that if you are in kindergarten. Now, throughout the year, as we move forward, you may see different apps. And I'm sure that the staff will tell you what additional apps are going to add as we move throughout this year. So those are the 2 basic ones they had told me they're using and implementing the most, though. So we wanted to kind of keep it so it's very easier for the parents to know that these are the main 2 apps they are using at this time period. Okay, that's kindergarten. And then 1st grade. When I talked to the 1st grade staff, they're also using Dreambox, and they told me to add Brain Pop to the list as well, which Brain Pop is in Clever, and so is Dreambox. Now, talking to the 1st grade, they might implement more of a dojo or Google Classroom. We are moving towards adding a couple more apps within the 1st grade as well. But those are the 2 main apps that the 1st grade wanted to integrate in the beginning to get us used to working with the iPad. Okay. 2nd grade. So as we go up the, the grade levels, you're gonna see more apps, obviously. So second grade is looking to implement Epic, which is a digital reading app for guided reading. They also use Dojo, which is I know many of you have seen Dojo in the past, but Dojo is the school communication platform that they're using to upload images or upload work or to go over work with you. And they are also using Zoom as well. And then I also heard they're using Zern as well, which is an immersive math program. So those are three major apps you should see in the second grade. Once again, they may be adding new maps as the year progresses, and I can always do this tutorial again if needed. But those are the main three. For third grade, you have iReady, which is the math. I believe, and maybe someone else can help me with this one. For iReady, is that for both math and language arts? Are they using that for at this point?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So they're definitely using that for math and language. I knew definitely for math, but I didn't know if they're implementing it for language arts at this point. They also use Epic, and they are also using Dojo. And I know third grade also uses Google Classroom as well. So these are the major apps you would see, and they should be in the Clever. DreamWorks, I believe you have to go outside of Clever and hit the app, which is on the iPad, and then go back and open it up, if I'm correct on that one, which I think I just learned that on Friday. And then, so throughout the year, I'm going to be doing like little mini trainings and have other apps that they would probably include into the Clever or on the iPad. This Discovery Education is a wonderful app for videos and just different learning styles. I know fourth grade also third grade, I apologize. Third grade using IXL. They texted me today and said they're using that. Kahoot is a great online formative assessment, which is a game, which I know a lot of people have been using. Woo's reading is also something we're going to be experimenting with. And then, as I said, Google Classroom would be the last. And I'm sure the teachers also have different strategies by using the OnCourse as well of using, it's called Kami. It's a way that they're uploading their PDF files as worksheets, basically to help the child as well. And that's an OnCourse. And then troubleshooting, my always suggestion is always to do a hard power down when you're getting something's frozen or if something's just not right. Definitely hard power down. And then when you restart it or kick it in again, it usually kind of resets itself. And then as Dr.
I'm sorry, Ms. Salucci, can you explain to them how to do that on an iPad? Because I know that it's a little bit different as far as not just a normal shutdown.
Okay. So with an iPad, like it depends. Well, we have the ones with the circles on the bottom, correct? Yes, we have the.
Yes.
So it's just a hard. You hold the circle down, you hold the power down for about 30 seconds. Mine's a little bit different because I have an iPad Pro, and then just hold it down for like 30 seconds. Let it shut completely down, and then you're going to restart it again using the power button, and that'll restart it, and it'll help it kind of regenerate and unfreeze basically everything on, like it won't freeze as bad. Dr. Craig, do you have a better way to explain that?
No, that was perfect. It's just a matter of making sure that it shuts down. That's what I was telling everybody. The screen goes black by the power button and the little dot at the bottom, and then once it restarts, you'll still see the apple, and that should
Yeah,
unfreeze it. That's helped us fix quite a few of the issues.
it really does. And just in general, it fixed a lot of the issues with anything, even older iPads. That usually helps. But once again, if something's just you're not signing in, contact your teacher or fill out, and I'm sure they're going to give you the tech form to fill out so we can just kind of troubleshoot. Because in technology, let's just face it, the way we deploy these, like there's a lot of iPads out there, and with any case, in any program you have, there's going to be little niches here and there. So it's okay, and then we'll be more than happy to troubleshoot and get you on the right track. But that's just the nature of the world we're in right now. How are we doing on questions? Anything?
We actually have quite a few of the questions, Ms. Lucci, are actually based upon the logons for Clever and for also for the iPad. But what we're trying to do is trying to keep that a little bit confidential, just for the family. So if any of the families have any questions about either password or logons, they can email me at drcry, DRCRY, at sptsd.org, and I will be happy to get that information out to them so they have it.
Okay. And I'm going to be continually working with the teachers throughout the year to implement anything new that comes out that will be beneficial to the educational process and hopefully streamline the workflow that it's easy for both parents and staff.
We also have one question about tech support. If they've done everything that they possibly can do, and there's concern about tech support, they can contact not only the principals in the main office or myself, but they can make an appointment, because on Wednesdays we still are holding in person, socially distanced appointments for families to come in and get assistance if they're still having difficulty.
That's great.
And then as far as that, I'm trying to look through some of these other questions that they have. Can you, as far as the other apps, I mean, I see the here that as far as A to Z with Clever, does that allow them that it's just the one log on? I know I sound like, but just the one log on, and that'll allow them into whatever apps are being used by that particular grade, correct?
Correct. So you with the login, you just with the Clever, you just log in once to Clever, and then you'll see a list. You'll see all the apps listed there. Um, so, for instance, you'll have a library. Now, obviously, my library is different, but I don't know if you guys can see that. So when you log in, you'll have the apps already there in Clever, and then all you have to do is click the app, and it'll automatically open because it's a one sign in. Were you able to see that? I could tell.
Yeah, I could see that actually. So they don't have to go into the individual different apps. They just have to log on to Clever. They can get to OnCourse. They can get to Reading A to Z. They can get to all of them.
Not Oncourse. Because Oncourse, is not really an app yet. They're still in the process of being approved by Apple. And Bill, Mr. Strock, you might want to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's what you said.
That is correct. That is correct. They're still being approved. That's why I knew the answer, but I didn't want to because that they're right now you have to do Encore separately, but eventually it will be an approved app, and then that will be in Clever as well. So it'll be one log on and that's it.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I love Clever, because we all know how hard it is to have kids log in continuously. So this was a nice way to kind of log in once. They're done. They can just go in their app, and it automatically should open up for them.
Okay, I'm not seeing, most of it is just about apps needed. If you need any help with apps that you don't see in Clever for your child's class that your teacher told them that they needed, please reach out. Now the principals are available, and Mrs. Lee, who is at Dawes Avenue School, I'll put this in the chat as well. Her email is D as in David, Lee, Lee, at sptsd.org. And Dr. Koss, who is our supervisor of curriculum and instruction, but also our preschool principal, her email is mkaas, Kaas. There's two A's there, Kaas at sptsd.org. Or you can feel free to email me as well, Dr. Cry, simple, DRCRY at sptsd.org, and we'll be able to help you. Is there anything else that we see here? I'm looking, Dr. Koss, do you see anything? Any questions that you think that this parents might want to know? Most of it's about apps and logons, but we can
Yeah, I
definitely.
think the only thing that I see is I just saw another one about cases. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can.
Okay, awesome. I saw another one about cases here. The cases have been ordered, and as soon as they come in, we'll let folks know. We've used the ones that were here. So as soon as they're in, we'll let folks know, and we can send them home either with your child if they're here hybrid, or you can come pick them up in the office.
And just so that the families that are on right now understand and know, we wanted to have the cases. Unfortunately, in a pandemic, everyone was trying to get the same technology and the same support services and devices, et cetera, at the same time. So when we went through this back in the summer, We put an order in for Chromebooks to use those for go all the way down 1-to-1 to our little guys. And we found out in early August that those devices would not be available until January of 2021. So we had to quickly pull the trigger, and we felt that iPads are very good developmentally for our little guys in our buildings, and we purchased those. They started coming in about mid-September, and they take quite a while in order to get them all set up for individual children. So then we didn't have the cases. The cases were also back ordered, and that's the reason that they were not on the devices when we handed them out, although we are starting deployment of those cases as they come in. And we're starting with pre-K because obviously our little guys are the still learning to hold things, and we want to make sure that they're safe. And then we're going to go up to kindergarten, first, second, and third as the cases come in. So as soon as we get them in, we'll get them out to you as quickly as possible. All right, and I don't see anything else. Anything else you want to share, Ms. Lucci, for the families, or any suggestions?
I think the staff and everyone, families are really doing a great job adjusting to this new scenario, and it is tough at first, but I think we can easily, well, we can get more, what's the word I'm looking for, like used to this type of environment as the months go on. And that's about it. Like, that's about as I got. That's all I got.
That's great. That's great, Miss Lucci. And for our parents, we are going to repost this again on the website and have it as a replay in case you missed anything as far as the apps that are available. If you need any help, don't hesitate to use the Pointigy computer support link that has been sent out by your teachers. We can definitely schedule appointments for you on our virtual days to come in and get extra help. And you don't hesitate to contact the main offices. And what I will do is I will make sure that I post all of that information in the chat for you to have access to as far as contacting people to get the support that you need. And we really appreciate for you being here tonight, and we will do whatever we can to help you get through this. We will all get through this together. All right. Thank you guys so much, and you have a great night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.